Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Clare and Rainbow with their movie, The River. Let's take another clip. Clare, Rainbow, thank you for being here.
Thank you for
the river.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Honestly, firstly, welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. We'll never let you go now. That's it. All right.
Good. I'm in.
Your film was phenomenal, like on so many levels, and I'm so proud that you brought it to us because it was so nice to see it in front of the audience last night. For those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
Our film is kind of about problem gambling, but it's seen through the eyes of 3 generations of women from the same family and sort of how it impacts their lives as individuals.
Mm-hmm. Nailed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And so obviously Claire directed it.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, you had the most amazing cast, honestly. Where did the inspiration for this story come about and how did you get involved?
So it's kind of inspired based on a play called Cashed Out, written by the same guy who wrote this, Claude, who's wonderful. And Rainbow played the role in the stage play and was kind of phenomenal. And she and her performance in this play, and this play was like the germ, like it was the seed of the inspiration for this. And so we adapted basically a scene from the play and then bits and pieces kind of from different parts of the play and also just from Claude's imagination with Rainbow's involvement and my involvement and made something that's kind of like a more dreamlike, cyclical, not as strict, like it's not a straight through narrative. It's much more kind of like interwoven, which is really fun and something you can't do as easily in stage probably. It comes to life really well for screen. So that was really nice to kind of make something that's the same but different as the play. But I got involved from, I interviewed for it and they picked me, and so it was so much fun to be part of the team. It was definitely a process to find the other 2 roles. There's an aunt role and then there's the daughter role. So that was really an interesting process to kind of go through finding people who would be the right fit.
Well, Rainbow, you played the central character, and you, like Claire said, you did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. I was captivated by your performance. It really was special. What was this experience like for you, Rainbow? And then obviously, working with the others as well who did a fantastic, from your daughter to 3 generations. How was it for you?
It's kind of very personal to me. So technically speaking, yes, our story started from the Short Play Festival, but like the artistic and emotional journey of it, for Claude, he's also the director of the Public Defender's Office for his tribe, for Gila River, and so we talked a lot about the cases that would come across his desk and the people he met as an attorney and how that informed the story, and the fact that he became an attorney because of gambling revenue that his tribe was able to acquire, paid for his education, and the complicated nature of that. But so for me playing this, it really is about my dad. My dad struggled with a lot of stuff, and one of the ways it manifests was problem gambling. But what I wanted to bring was the fact that I love him. He's now walked on, but I love him. And there was never a doubt that he loved us and our family. And that's what I wanted to show. Like, people who struggle with whatever they struggle with, it's not about they don't care about other people or that they're dumb or that they just won't pull themselves up by the bootstraps. There's a lot of other things at play. So that was the journey for me.
To have emotion and empathy for all 3 of the women, like Rocky is struggling so much, and you're seeing how her struggle impacts those she loves and those that love her, and it's like hopefully you'd leave not judging her at all for her journey,
Yeah.
but understanding it more. Yeah.
You captured that, and we said this last night, you captured that so well. Like the empathy for all three characters. And all three of you told a story through your eyes and your love, just how hard this situation was, and I hope that's a sort of blessing to the legacy of your father as well, the love that was shared there as well. This is an emotional story, but there's also a lot of, truth and context this story in a much deeper way, particularly, Indigenous communities as well, and everything else. For you personally, Ro, taking on a character like that, having that own experience, like, what did you want that for you, but also what do you want your audience to sort of take from this particular film as well? Because there's a lot of levels and layers to this.
Yeah, I would say, something that Claude and I, and also one of our executive producers, Glenn Stanton, who was with the story since the beginning too, from the get-go, we were kind of all talking about wanting to make this, we didn't want to sort of say that this is a problem for Indian country and only Indian country. We're the only ones that struggle with this thing.
Yeah.
We wanted to try to make sure the story was focused on this family who happened to live at Gila River, but sort of show that struggles in general with addiction are universal.
They are.
It's bigger than this. So that was really important to me. That, along with being human, or bringing humanity to people who struggle with various types of addiction, and taking away stereotypes. But I'm going to piggyback on an earlier question, because I really feel like I attribute so much of the success of the film being so connective with people to Clare. We had talks as well from the beginning when we were looking for a director about, does it need to be a community member? And we interviewed community members. Does it need to be just an Indigenous person? Does it need to be, we wanted it to be female focused. Should it be a woman? And at the end of the day, we interviewed all kinds of people, and we really just went for the best person for the job, and freaking smashed it.
No, I remember when I got invited to interview, I was like, I don't think they're gonna choose me, because I see my way into this. I see how I relate to this story and to these characters, and I see what I want to bring to life with these people. And I'm just going to speak from the heart about how I connect with it and what it means to me, and how I think I could best guide and support this story. But at the same time, I had no expectations of it, because I'm not part of that community. So I was like, how can I be of service, and how can I help bring it to life in a way that feels authentic and loving and supportive, and isn't like, this is my story now because I'm the director. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my job here at all. But
I think that's why. But I think that's why you were chosen, because you're not, obviously that's not who you are, right? And you found connection, and you found an empathetic connection with each other for the story and the meaning of it, everything else. And Clay did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, like, it was a really hard watch, because I was crying. Because the love with this family and this disconnect, and they just at this moment in time can't see each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just crossing over. You're like, no, if only you just do this, and don't say this and this, and so what was it like? If you was a director, the stakes were high. You had these brilliant actors. What's your process as a director, particularly for this film?
So it's interesting, because Rainbow's been with this film for so long and had her own connection to the character. I was very much, I think up front, I was like, how can I best on the day help you? Because this is your baby. This is like, you've been with this role and with this story for so long. And she was like, I'm used to doing it on stage, so I need you to help me make sure I'm not doing stage on camera. I was like, copy, I'm on that for you. And then when it came to our other actors, Jennifer and Susanna, who are both wonderful. Susanna had never acted before in her life. She plays the daughter. So
she did so cool.
And she's now a news anchor for Gila River Indian
I think
community.
this has sparked something in her, which is wonderful. So she's just really special. We wanted one of the roles, ideally, to go to a community member, and we didn't know which role that would be or how it would work out. So we kind of saw people from the community for both of those roles, and then we saw Susanna and we were like, oh, this feels very special. Something just kind of clicked in, and she just felt like, I believed that she could play your daughter, you know? So that was really wonderful. And so, but that was, for me, working with someone who's never acted before, I was like, all right, I hope my directing chops are ready to go, because, you know, it's a short timeline. We filmed this in 3 days. There were actually a lot of locations. That's the one thing I would say to myself, like, at the script now, if I was like, planning to shoot this again, I'd say let's try to get rid of one of those locations or condense them, just because then we have the time to really sit with it for the big scene, the big climactic scene. But yeah, it was great. I remember I just said to Susanna and to Jen, I was like, please be 1,000% off book, so we can just arrive on the day and play and actually talk to each other. That's the most important thing. And so yeah, we found it together. It was great.
And Rainbow, you also produce this as well. What was it like being in front and behind? And you know, what was that experience like for you?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I feel like I don't think I could have done it if I already didn't have a relationship to the character. I really think I would have struggled, because it was really, producer hat on until
calling action.
Right?
So she was doing a million things.
It was extraordinarily difficult. I learned so much. In a weird, sick, masochistic way. I'm ready to do it again.
Oh, you are. I love it. So you got the bug now. I love it.
I'm so into it.
Yes.
I have such a respect now for producing.
And you're incredible at it. I had no idea it was your first time producing. Truly the most organized dude ever. You killed it. I was like, how are you doing this? It was pretty amazing.
It was quite a ride. I learned a lot. And learned how to lean on other people too. So yeah, it's definitely two sides of your brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. And I do feel like there is a huge part of me that's never satisfied with the work that I do as an actor ever. And I think that's maybe not a good thing. I think it's important to celebrate yourself and celebrate your victories. Yeah. But I am really hard on myself. And so I do look back on the film and I'm like, oh no. If I would have just worn one hat, maybe the performance wouldn't have suffered. Maybe something would be different. No. But
is the performance that suffered in the room with us?
I mean, you were extraordinary. What you talk? I mean, no, just seriously, you were extraordinary. Like amazing, and to take on the producing side of things as well. It's never an easy job being in front and behind camera. No. But because this has been such a baby. This has been such an important part, and you've taken it from being a play to film. What have you mostly learned from this particular experience in the whole full journey of this film?
I think probably the biggest thing that sticks with me is don't wait to tell a story that's inside you. I have this thing about I've been waiting so long to make something of my own with co-collaborators, because I felt like I didn't have the right thing to say, or I wasn't 100% clear on it, or that's not the one thing I want to put in the world. And now I'm realizing it isn't just one thing that you're going to put in the world. It's going to be many, and there's always going to be stories, and it's never going to be perfect, and you're never going to get it done. Yeah. So just do it.
Start.
Just start. Put it out there. Yeah. That's the big takeaway for me. And I did hear from Claude actually the other day, which you might not know yet. He is going back to the table. This story goes in a lot of places, and that's why I laughed earlier. Like, you have no idea what these characters actually do and go through in this little short film. He's thinking about, maybe does he want to bring the full story to screen?
Oh, amazing.
So I don't know, we'll see.
Who knows what the future holds?
Who knows?
And Claire, you found this wonderful family of people and directing this. What have you mostly learned from this experience?
I mean, it was incredible. I remember I went out for location scouting with Claude and with some other folks in the community, and I'm a guest there. I'm there to help, see the locations that are available to us and kind of interpret those to what I think will work best on the day and make this come to life in a beautiful way. But it was like me learning so much about another culture and wanting to support that culture as best I could, as quickly as I could. And so it was just like trusting Rainbow and trusting the community. I mean, we had so many folks on set that day who had never done that specific position before, whether that's a key grip or a production designer or whatever. It's trusting folks in the community to bring things to life in an authentic way for this film that isn't trying to like insert my perspective on top of it. And so, I mean, it just reaffirmed how much it is a group. It's a team sport to make a film.
It's a team sport. It really is.
It's so leaning on each other and trusting each other. And there's always going to be little spats along the way. There's always going to be like, lunch is late. But it was so joyful, and when we got done, it felt like we all had just run a marathon together. So I mean,
There's no water in the river.
I know, right?
There's no water in the river.
That
No,
was
there's
pretty-
no water. Oh,
That was pretty crazy.
That's a big deal,
we
isn't
did
it?
a
Yeah.
location scout, and there was plenty of water in the river. It was gorgeous. We picked this location. We're like, yeah, we're ready to go. And then a month later, we get there, and they had stopped routing water to that particular source, and so it was
Wow,
almost
that's kinda-
entirely dried up. And we were like, should we use this as like a metaphor for it being dry? Like, how can we spin this? Which is what
Yeah.
filmmaking is.
It
you
is.
Just,
You think on the
you
spot.
gotta just think on your feet. And so we brought a hose to kind of add a trickle of water there, and we kind of interpreted it as the flow in this river was maybe not always going to be as strong, and we leaned into that metaphor a little bit, like for ourselves. But
Good job.
yeah, I mean, it was chaotic in the best way.
It's the beauty of filmmaking, that whole wondrous
Yeah.
journey, and somehow always trying to find a way to like make it
Always.
work, right? It was an electrical, beautiful vibe last night. How was the experience last night? Because you had such, I mean, people were coming up to me saying, "Oh my God, I love the river, it's amazing." So how was it for you last night?
It was wonderful. It was
Yeah.
just, it's a beautifully put together program. I love how many filmmakers are here and are able to kind of represent their film. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes you're at a film festival and there's only one person or two people from the film there. It was nice to actually meet the other filmmakers involved. And
Yeah, you're part of a family now.
yeah,
so,
and it just was like a nice social occasion with people on the terrace and having a drink and getting to meet each other. And
Yeah.
so I loved it. I'm really impressed.
How about for you, Rainbow?
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all come to New Filmmakers LA.
It's true.
Like, it absolutely fantastic programming. The block that we were a part of.
So good.
You know, was so dynamic too. The block of films that we were a part of, and it continued that way all night long. The turnout is fantastic. The week long of programming is fantastic. I'm literally blown away by the amount of work the board and everybody who's involved
it was great.
with New Filmmakers does. It's extraordinary. And this is not the time to stop programs like this.
Yes.
Exactly.
And to not support artists. And thank gosh for like New Filmmakers.
It's
I had
true.
the best time.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that is honestly is music to our ears, because we can't do it without our amazing filmmakers and stories. And as you know, there's so many important stories that got to be out there, and we
Yeah.
need these incredible storytellers like yourselves to bring these stories to life, so that we can all just get to appreciate, learn, educate, everything. There's so many levels to it. So I'm just glad you found each other. It's so wonderful. But I know this has got a long way to go before we're not finished with the river yet. But what is next on the horizon for you both? What is next?
I may be directing a feature film this summer, TBD on funding.
Amazing.
And then I wrote my first feature, which is a very, very personal story. Just like you were saying, like start. You know, I've written 2 short films, and I've done a lot of directing of friends' work, but I was like really pushing myself to tell a story that's really close to me, and so I wrote that feature. So now I'm looking for producing partners and kind of in the initial stages of that, and I'm really excited about that. And
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Very
Yeah.
excited. Oh, how about you, Rainbow?
So I'm currently working on stage right now in a production of Doubt by John Patrick Shanley, which is a fantastic
Are
play.
you?
I
Where?
need to go see you in this.
Can we go and see?
It's up in Oregon. Come up to
Oh
Oregon.
my God, I've got
in-
friends up in
in
Where in Oregon?
Ashland, Oregon.
Really?
Come on up, Doubt. It's such a good place. So I'm working
Okay.
on that. I've got 2 projects as a producer that I really want to get off the ground this year.
Amazing.
You'll hear more.
Okay, great. Can't wait.
I have that, and then I'm really hoping, and new showrunner and writers that might be listening.
Vibrations.
I'm in. I have the immense joy of being in Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I'm a huge fan of the animated series.
Oh,
And I'm
my
really
goodness.
hoping maybe they write more for my character, because they're filming seasons 2 and 3 right now. So hopefully I'll get to do that sometime later this
Oh, you legend, Rainbow. That's amazing.
She's
Oh,
a
stop.
legend.
Part of history. I love it. Amazing. Well, listen, thank you so much, Claire. Thank you, Rainbow. Thank you to all of your cast and crew. You did a phenomenal job in making
Thank
this film
you.
happen. And welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. We'll never let you go.
Thrilled to
That's
be
it.
here.
All right. Really appreciate you all. The river, everybody. Claire and Rainbow.